Well, Greg, hi, nice to be here, and thank you very much for David and the rest of the team for inviting me. Just a quick agenda. I know we're very short on time, but we just want to thank the XRM Toolbox and discuss what that is and why we built it, and a couple of demos, and then we'll take any questions at the end. I'll probably not have enough time for that. So first of all, thanking the Xrm Toolbox guys. So if you don't know what Xrm Toolbox is, it's a collection of tools that allows you to work with Dataverse and your Power Platform stack and makes your life easier. This is Tanguy, Jonas, and Mark Carrington, who are pretty much fundamental to that tool stack. Xrm Toolbox has been around since 2008, so it's been around since before Power Platform was even a twinkle in anyone's eye, and was based around Dynamics 365 on-prem, but it's evolved over that time to what we have today, where this is quite an old slide, so there's an awful lot there now, more than 225, but it's got plugins that make your life easier, make you want to really understand your environments, make your life easy to import data or change things or create the fetch XML for your Power Automate queries, etc. So very much a mainstay for any developer or architect out there that is wanting to use the toolbox to use their environment and get the right information out. And it's got some real key tools in there. Fetch XML builder. So if you're working with any sort of Fetch XML in any sort of programming that you're doing, or even trying to create those complicated triggers and queries within Power Automate, that's one of the things that you'll be able to build up over time and give you all the functionality there, point and click, and effectively trying to get you to the right state where you can copy that Fetch XML to wherever you need. And also plugin registration tool. So the ability for you to update and interact with your plugins, etc. But as you can see from these screenshots, it's because it was built and started in 2008. It's based on a very old Windows technology, WinForms. It's C# and reliance on .NET components, .NET Core components, and that's probably some of the things that we want to evolve when we are moving into the Power Platform Toolbox. We wanted it to be cross-platform, moving away from just the Windows side, which is part of what the Xrm Toolbox is. Secure by design, so isolated tools and security policies that mean that you know where your data is going. You are taking ownership of that, and you're making sure that you're extending that functionality you need, rather than the tool developer or someone else taking over your machine, and you're very confident that those things are happen. Not to say that the Xrm Toolbox tools are insecure in any way, but they don't have that security policy because that's a new technology, new way of working that's come in recently. Modern technology. So Power Platform developers nowadays are used to PCFs, TypeScripts, code apps, all those things all run on TypeScript, Fluent, etc. So we're going to that technology rather than a functionality that was based on the WinForms and C#. We still use C# for plugins, of course, but it's not a visual functionality. We're more used to that TypeScript and that web front end. And community first. So it's not a standalone tool. I know there's plenty of standalone tools on your web browsers, all those sort of things. But we're basically trying to make it as a method for tool makers to have a standard way of working and a standard approach to connections, and let them just worry about the tool functionality rather than having to worry about all that security, etc. And we've got a very multinational team. Dinesh, who was meant to join me today, but he's traveling over in India at the moment. But he's the guy, he's the boss. But as you can see, that there's lots of other people in this community that are all in the Level Up community. They're all leaders in that, and multinational, so right across the world. And these are pretty much driving this information forward, the toolbox forward. So demo time. Let me stop sharing. Oh no, I didn't want to stop sharing. I want to share that again. I wanted to shop the presentation and go to the toolbox. So can you still see my screen? David, give me a nod. So you can still see this. This is the powerplatformtoolbox.com. You can download for Windows, but also you hear that you can see lots of other versions from Windows, Mac OS, and Linux, and different versions in Windows, depending whether you're ARM, like I am on my Windows Surface, or normal x64 architectures. So we have really done a lot around making sure that give you the versions that you need. This is the most stable release. We've also got an insider, which is normally nightly when Dinesh is not traveling, released to the dev version, where we've got this really raw versioning of things that we're building and we're building out. If I go now to the toolbox itself, what we're presented here with is the toolbox. When you install it, is a list of all the things that and support. If I wanted to create a connection, it's quite as simply as copying, giving it a name, giving it a URL, which is your URL that you see when you log into your Dynamics instance, and giving it some optional properties here. This is basically trying to understand the colors so that you can know what you're doing, in highlighting which environment you're in, so you're not deleting a load of data from your production environment, etc. So trying to give you that insight, as well as here are the authentication types: the normal OAuth authentication, where you're presented with a pop-up box and you're allowed to log in as normal, or others that you see here if you want to start using client IDs and secrets. So those are very much similar. It should be common in your strategy practices if you've got that in your environments. If I open up a tool here, and I've got my full list of tools here, I'm just going to open up one of these tools. You can see that I'm presented with a list of environments, and I can go into any of these. But if I just link over to my dev environment, because I've already logged in here, it should be a very quick and easy access. It already knows who I am. It's already logged in here. I've authenticated. This is the Bulk Data Studio. So this is one of my tools. So I can quickly go in and select, the internet's a bit slow here, the account table and the appropriate view, and select that. And when it's ready, I can then go and do a bulk update. So I can change the account name, and I can select multiple rows here and change the account name to Bob if I wanted to. I'm not going to do all the rows, but that's the action there. And I can do this on multiple tables. So if you've got something that you need to go and do across multiple rows, it's a very quick and easy way of doing that. Just looking at some of the ones that we've now stolen. So this was stolen from the Bulk Data Toolbox within XRM by Jonas, so he's contributed to this. And we've also got the Effects XML Studio, and I'll connect to my dev environment again. And you can see that we're now in this environment where I can select my entity, I can build out my query, and quite easily and quickly create some Effects XML for me to do or see the results if I wanted to. So these are very much mimicking the tools that are there for the environments that are across the board and understand it. We've also got plugin registration tool, again showing you that in dev, so that we've got all the assemblies and all the plugins, and I can enable them and disable them and see all that functionality. Another one that is new, John Does Flow has created a Copilot Studio Action Mapper to understand where your custom APIs within Copilot and how those are, and where I can execute the action. I can do the schema and export the documentation. So quite a quick and easy way to do that. We've also got things like Data Migrator by Dinesh, where I can connect two environments. I'm going to just connect to the same environment here, just for testing. Go back to here and confirm it. But you've got two environments here, so you're basically moving data from dev to test. So if you've got an environment that you want to set up and start to configure, it's quite quick and easy to do that, and approach that from that point of view. As we're going along, you can see that we've now got a very much a wide smorgasbord of applications and tools that you can use, and we are really looking forward for many people to be able to do that. But also we have got, which everyone seems to be quite excited about, a dark theme. So all of these tools now you can see in your dark mode, and see them that they're now in a more visually appealing and more modern look. And we can then start to do more things that we can do in this environment that is more spectacular and more easy to use and more modern. So let me just go back to the presentation and just do a quick call to action, and I'll let David take over from here. So yes, a couple of links here for you. First one is the toolbox.com where I showed you, and also our LinkedIn page. LinkedIn page will give you an insight into new tools that have been added, also new versions of the toolbox itself and what we're working on. We've got a Discord server if you want to reach out to that. But make sure that you're interacting with us, letting us know what functionality you need. Create a tool. Come and help me. There's on the docs on the Power Platform Toolbox.com website. There's a whole introduction how to create a tool, and really we're looking for anyone to help us along the way.